Hello, this is the Cobra hs60, which is a hand spreader suitable for grass seed and fertiliser on large lawns. So what we're going to do is unpack it, get it all out, assemble it and show you just how easy it is to put together. So this is it when it's unpacked. You can see it's partly put together. This is the big hopper. Just a little warning, when you are taking it out of the cardboard box, if you're using a knife to cut the sellotape, be careful because it's packed with this close to the top. So just make sure that you don't damage this. Comes with everything that you need to put it together, including a manual with the instructions of how to assemble it. All the nuts and bolts and everything that you need is there, including two little spanners which are 10, 13 and 14 millimetre. They will do it, but if you've got your own bigger spanners or sockets, that might make it just a little bit easier. When you're assembling the stand, make sure you use the right bolts. There are 6 bolts that length and 2 which are just 5 millimetres longer. We want the shorter bolts. We're saving the longer ones for when we do the actual handlebar itself. So shorter bolts for the stand. So the first thing we're going to do is to assemble what will be the back stand, which will hold it in an upright position. So what we're going to do now is fix that onto there, and then we can put the handlebar assembly together. So this is the stand. It's got curved ends to it there. So what happens is this curved bit goes behind this main frame there and lines up with that hole at the bottom, as you can see, like that, and the curve just sits around the tubular steel frame. It's a bit easier to do this if you've got somebody just to hold it while you get the bolts through. So I'm just going to ask Gareth if he can just hold that in place. And then what you need for this is one of the long bolts, a washer and one of the lock nuts there. So these have got a square end that locks in from the back. So that's going to push up through there and just twist it so the square goes in. Then we can pop on that washer and then we can just put the nut on. So just tighten it finger tight, and then as it starts to lock in, we need either the spanner they provide. I'm going to use this little socket set, which makes life a little bit easier and we can get it on much faster. So we're just going to tweak that one down and then we just repeat this procedure on the other side and then it'll all be fixed into place. So now we can stand it up like that on the stand. That keeps it nice and upright. Next we're going to put these two S-shaped handles on there, this tubular steel. They're both identical. Doesn't matter which way you put these on. What we're going to do is put them on, one on this leg and one on this leg, so that they go together to form a tube there which we can put the handlebar in. So again, what we're going to do to attach these is we're going to use the shorter of the bolts. So we've got 4 left and we can just put a bolt through there like that, our curved washer and then our nut, and then tighten them up. And then once we've got this one on, we do exactly the same at the other side. So I've only partly tightened these because we need to have a little bit of give just here, simply because if we tighten it too much, it's going to be too tight to get this in. So this is the handlebar, which is then going to slot into there. We've got the 2 holes here, which will line up with these holes. So we just slot that in like that to line up the holes using the 2 longer bolts. It's a little bit fiddly, and if you do find it a bit tight, then I suggest you just slacken off a little bit more. You might just need to give them a bit of a wiggle to get them through like that. And then we can pop on our washer and our nut, and then we can put the second bolt in, and then we can tighten everything up to make sure it's nice and rigid. Everything is tight, so the handlebar is nice and sturdy now. And the final thing to do is to put this link bar in from the adjuster there. So this is how we will adjust the rate of flow. It opens and closes the aperture at the bottom of the hopper. So it essentially goes onto there with a little nut and bolt, onto this little brass fitting there, and then onto this hole here. Now, you think that doesn't work. Well, this is adjustable. We're going to tighten that later. But if you also adjust this down to the lowest hole there, it moves this back. So by doing that, you can then get it on to fit. So what I'm going to do is put this top one on first. So what we do is we get one of the small little bolts that we've got here. This is going on the right hand side of it. So it's the bolt going through, and then the washer, which goes between the lever and this bracket. That then goes through the hole, and then a little bit fiddly this, because it's just a little 10mm nut, but you can just put that on there. So I'm just doing that finger tight for now, so that we can then do exactly the same at the hopper end. Bolt goes through first, again to the right hand side, then the little rubber washer through the hole, and then we can pop on this little nut. Again, a little bit fiddly, but just get it in there, finger tight. And once we've got them in place, then we can get the spanner and we can tighten those up. With both ends of the linkage, I've tightened it up, but we need there to be some movement. So once you've tightened it, just take a little bit of the tension off so that we've got that little bit of movement in there, so that we can then move this link like that. So that's important that you do that. So just that one turn just gives us that little bit of movement there. And then the final thing is this then, now we've got the tension there, we just need to tighten this up as well so that that doesn't move around on the handlebar. So there it is now, all assembled, very easy to push, manoeuvrable like that. And of course the handle here alters the aperture in the hopper. So if we just take this rain cover off, this is great if you're doing this on, it's a little bit damp and showery, stops your fertilizer or grass seed getting damp. And inside there's a grill there that stops any large things going down and clogging up. And if we look in here, this is the aperture there. When we have it on 0, we've got the smallest aperture. If we take it down to number 4, that's the largest. So you'd have to regulate that to the seed or the fertilizer that you're using. So that's it, assembled and ready to go and work on your lawn.
Remember to register your Cobra online at www.cobragarden.co.uk. Always have your Cobra serviced regularly. Check the website for your nearest dealer.